Okay, YouTubers, I'm on this 1952 Ford 8N tractor changing the fluids. What you're looking at here is the back end of the tractor from underneath. This is where the pump, the hydraulic pump, resides under this cover here, and behind that is the third member, or the differential behind it here. And I'm getting ready to change the fluids. I've already done, I'll back up here a little further maybe. You can see there, this is the plug for the transmission. I've already done that. As you can see, I've taken some solvent and some rags. This was real oily and dirty. I took a scraper, small scraper, scraped everything down. It was on there probably a 1/16 of an inch thick of gunk. I've scraped it all down, got some rags and some solvent, washed it clean, so that my 2-gallon bucket there, 2-gallon bucket fits underneath. When you take that plug out, it's such a big plug. This plug right here, you can see how big that thing is. A couple inches in diameter. When you take it off of there, the oil really comes flooding out. And there's about 5 gallons of oil. The transmission itself, there's a plug on it, but the oil goes from here to the differential is all one pathway. So the 5 gallons of oil that you put in it from the top, there's another plug like this on the top where the gear shifter is. You fill it with oil, it's going to flow across here and fill everything. But there's 2 plugs. There's also another little one. You see that little hex head, square-headed one right there. I've read online to take that out and drain it from there also, so I'll do that. Okay. And up forward here, I've done the this is the engine plug. It has a square end on it. Okay. And it has about 5 or 6 quarts of oil that comes out of there, which a 2-gallon bucket will handle nicely. But when I took this one out on the transmission, there was so much oil came out, I had to quickly reach up here and put the plug back in, stop the oil flow, and get another bucket. So be prepared with a couple of 2 gallons. Well, you're going to need, if it's 2-gallon bucket, like three buckets, or 2.5 gallons. You can get away with that. But just be prepared to have enough buckets to handle everything, and have your bucket under there. When it does come loose, it's going to come out in a flood, and be prepared to put the thing back on it, the plug back in, with all that oil gushing out. Just be prepared for that. And then, so now I don't have a 6-point socket and big breaker bar to get these plugs off. I do have a big 14-inch crescent, but these plugs are in there so hard that I can't break it loose even with a 14-inch crescent. It'll spread the jaw, pulling on it so hard it spreads the jaw, and then slips around and rounds the corners off on the head of the drain plug there. Here, rounds the corners off. So on the one on the engine, I ended up having to use a crescent or a pipe wrench or a monkey wrench with an extension bar over the handle to get it to break loose. And I suspect I'm going to have to do that to this one too. I tried yesterday and wasn't having much luck getting it off without an extension handle. So I'll have to get set up. A fellow online had a good, if you've got a socket that fits that with a heavy duty breaker bar and put an extension on the breaker bar. He puts a piece of wood under the bottom of the socket on a little jacks it up so that it holds the socket in line without everything falling down, and then he can get on that breaker bar and pop the thing loose, then take the jack and stuff out. But again, I don't have a socket that big. I don't have a breaker bar that big. And I really hate to use the crescent or the pipe wrench, because I don't know if you can see it, but it does booger the threads or the surface up. The teeth gouge into the metal material. Okay, it kind of gouges a little bit, which on a classic vehicle like this old tractor, I kind of hate to booger things up, but I really have no choice at this point. It's been sitting here 4 months trying to get the fluids changed on this thing, getting stuff apart, and with the weather and everything. So anyway, I'll see if I can get that pop loose. I've got a little lid on my can there to keep dirt and stuff from falling in. Until I get all ready to go, I'll slide it under there and pull the lid off once I have that broke loose. And then we'll go from there.